Building your real estate portfolio in Toronto doesn't have to be super overwhelming. It's all about having the right strategy in place. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to scale aggressively to many doors, there is a clear path to success. So in this video, let's break it all down for you on how to scale from 0 to 13 doors in Toronto. But before we dive in, do us a quick favor, hit that like button, subscribe for more real estate investing tips, and if you are ready to talk about your own Toronto real estate investing journey, feel free to book a call with us. When you're first starting out, cash flow should be your main focus. If your property isn't making enough money each month, it will be harder for you to get approved for more mortgages in the future. But if you can find properties that not only cash flow, but do have room for improvements and value add potential, that's even better. You can renovate, increase the property's value, and then refinance quicker to unlock that added value. And this allows you to pull out cash and keep growing your portfolio faster. Now, to make refinancing easier, we recommend sticking to more stable markets. In areas where prices go up and down a lot more quickly, your gains from renovations might disappear when it's time to refinance. In more stable markets, it would be a lot easier to predict your property's completion value, and that would make things a lot more certain and lower risk. Another thing to keep in mind when you're taking on value add projects is to focus on properties with higher values. Let's say there's two options. You can buy a house in a smaller market for $450,000 or in Toronto for $900,000. You spend the same amount, $200,000 on renovations, but after renovations, the Toronto house could be worth $1.3 million, whereas the smaller market house might only be worth $750,000. And so you get a 200 grand increase in value in Toronto versus 100 grand somewhere else. And a bigger increase means more cash to refinance, which does help you grow faster in Toronto. House hacking is also another good option, although we know it's not for everyone. If you live in one unit of a multi-unit property and you rent out the rest, you can lower your living expenses. Now, this does free up more money for your next down payment. Plus, if you live in the property, you can get access to better mortgage terms like lower interest rates, and it's a small sacrifice now that can lead to faster growth in the future. As you can see, the key to all of these strategies really is refinancing and using your equity. What it means is that you don't need to save for every down payment or to sell your properties in order to cash out. Refinancing is usually better than selling because if you sell, you'll have to pay income taxes, capital gain taxes, transaction fees, and even though you can only pull out a portion of the extra equity, with refinancing, you'll often have more cash to reinvest if you do it this way as opposed to selling. Now that you understand the basics, let's break down a real example of how to go from 0 to 13 doors in today's Toronto market. For house number 1, you would start by buying a property for $950,000. And to get this deal going, you'll need $190,000 for the down payment and another $100,000 in cash for renovations, making it about a $320,000 total upfront investment. You'll also need good income to qualify for the mortgage. And then once you've completed the renovations, your property could be worth $1.15 million. So what this means is that you've increased the value by $100,000. So in this case here, you can go back to the bank and refinance the house at 90% LTV, loan to value ratio, with an insured mortgage, assuming that you have a close relative living in one of the units. You'd be able to pull out $275,000 in cash, and on top of that, your property will still be generating $400 in positive cash flow a month, putting you in a strong position to move forward to the next step. Now, with $275,000, you can actually build a garden suite in your backyard if you manage yourself, or add a little bit more savings if you're to pay for a property manager to help you build it. This garden suite adds a lot more cash flow for you. And based on the market, this garden suite could be worth around $500,000. So with this, you can refinance again, cash out $450,000, and still have both houses bringing in very strong positive cash flows. With the $450,000, you're ready to take on a bigger project. Now, you buy a $1 million house this time that needs $200,000 of renovations. But then after you complete the renovations, the market value here would jump to around $1.4 million. And so you can go back and refinance again and access $460,000 of equity. So from here on, you can take part of it and build another garden suite. And once that is refinanced, you get it, you've got enough cash to move on to your next project. By now, you might be ready for a bigger scale project like a 4+1 conversion. What you can do here is buy a larger rundown house for $1.3 million, invest $300,000 to convert it into 4 units, and once the work is done, the market value is at closer to $1.9 million. Now you can go back and refinance and pull out equity and find the next garden suite, increasing your rental income and maximizing your property's potential. So there you have it. That's how you go from 0 to 13 doors here in Toronto. So you might be asking, should you even consider the 4+1 option? And is this something that you should be saving for later? Well, the reason why we're doing it in the end is for scaling. As you grow your portfolio, you'll eventually hit a limit on how many residential properties you can hold under your personal name. And that's when commercial financing becomes a better option. If you're looking to scale, having a property with at least 5 units makes you eligible for commercial residential financing. And with commercial financing, the loan is based on your property's rental income, not your personal income. And what this means is that it won't affect your personal mortgage ratios and it won't show up on your personal credit report. And if you are getting to the point where residential loans are harder to come by because you have too many properties, but you still want to grow, this could be a solid option. However, keep in mind that commercial financing do come with different rules. Rather than being based on market comparables, refinancing is often determined by either the property's total cost or a value calculated based on math, cap rates. And recently, CMHC's MLI Select commercial mortgage has been a bit more unpredictable, so refinancing for bigger projects may now be based on costs and not values. So what this means is that you can't actually pull out as much equity as you would with a residential mortgage, which definitely is based on values. So I guess you can see that it really depends on what you want to achieve. If you do want to scale quickly, commercial financing might be a good option, but if you are planning to build a portfolio with just a few properties, sticking with residential loans might still be the better way to go. Ultimately, the key to scaling is to use refinancing to pull out equity so that you don't need to sell your properties or save up for every new project. And if you're not sure where to start or you need help figuring out the right strategy for you, let's chat. We're real estate investors here in Toronto and we specialize in multiplexes and value-add projects. Whether you are looking for a turnkey multiplex or one to renovate, we'll help you make the best decision using solid numbers and facts. Here's how we work. First, we'll get to know your goals and then dive into the numbers to find the best opportunities for you. And eventually, we'll help you secure the best property for you. If you do need renovations, we can connect you to reliable contractors and coach you as you manage your project. Once renovations are done, we can also help with leasing and property management too. Are you ready to take the next step? Just head over to this link here and let's chat.